I'm Mark Dawson from the Self-Publishing Show, and this is Self-Publishing Spotlight, where we shine a light on the indie authors who are changing the world of publishing, one book at a time.
Hello and welcome to the Self-Publishing Spotlight. We meet indie authors at all stages of their careers and ask them a series of 5 questions. 5 questions about their process, their mistakes and their successes. 5 answers that will help you level up your own author career. My name's Tom Ashford and I'm part of the Self-Publishing Formula. Don't forget that you can get your self-publishing resource kit at selfpublishingformula.com/starter kit. This week's guest is Shani Struthers. She's written 16 books in the paranormal genre and she lives in the UK. Welcome, Shani.
Hi there, Tom. Thank you.
So would you like to start by maybe talking us through some of your work so far?
Yeah, I write supernatural thrillers. I've got the Psychic Surveys series, which comprises of 6 books. This Haunted World series, I'm about to publish the 3rd in that one at the end of this month, and the Psychic Surveys Companion series as well, which support the main Psychic Surveys series. So yeah, quite a few books there.
Yeah. Okay, let's dive in with the questions. Question 1 is, why do you write? So was there a particular reason that you started writing?
Do you know, it's like a lot of writers say, I've always written. My main hobbies have been writing and reading. I took English and American Literature at university, and then aged 24 I became a freelance copywriter working for the travel industry. And I always wanted to write a book, but I did write for a living anyway, so it almost seemed like a bit of a busman's holiday for me. So it took me till I was 42. I had several children, in that process during that time. So I was 42 till I sat down and I actually wrote a novel. And I sent it off, and it got several offers of, from traditional publishers to be published. So I picked one, and it all began from there, really.
Very nice. And was there a particular reason that you chose the paranormal and supernatural thriller genre?
Well, I didn't actually. To begin with, I started with romance. I wrote 2 romance books. And then I went and I thought, I've actually had it with romance, really. Much as I love it, it just wasn't for me. I wasn't feeling the love for it. And I've always had a love for the supernatural and paranormal genres, and they are my favourite genres. So, and I sat down and I wrote the first in the Psychic Surveys series, which is The Haunting of Highdown Hall. And I'm happy to say it was quite a success. So that began that. I shelved romance and went on to supernatural, and I've never looked back.
Great. So you were traditionally published with the romance novels. Have you taken the self-published route for the supernatural thrillers?
Not initially, I didn't. They were published again traditionally, but at the beginning of last year it was, I got on very well with that particular publisher. I negotiated them all back out of contract, because during my time writing I'd also sort of tried to learn about the business too. And I knew quite a few indie authors, and I was freelance for a long time. And I think once a freelance, you're always a freelance. I was frustrated that I couldn't do what I wanted with my books when I wanted to, like promote them the way I wanted to, publish them to my own schedule, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I became really frustrated with it. Chatted to my publisher, who said, well, if that's really the way you want to go, then okay, let's do it. So I got all my supernatural, there was about 5 of them at the time, back out of contract. And I re-edited, recovered, and I relaunched. And again, never look back. I love the indie lifestyle.
Yeah,
I do. I absolutely love it. And I love being able to do what I want when I want to, and also being in charge of my own creative direction as well.
Yeah. And was it tricky to switch from genre to genre in the traditional publishing world?
No. I have just written a romance, but because I'm so heavily branded, I'm actually writing that under a pseudonym, and I'm going to launch that this month as well. But no, I mean, I don't know why I did that romance. I just sort of, I'd written quite a few dark supernatural novels, and I just needed something a bit light. So I did this romance thing, but that is under a completely different name to me. It will have, never the twain shall meet between those two.
Yeah, I imagine there's not huge amounts of crossover.
No, not at all. So I won't continue down the romance path. I just need to do something a bit different, and then go back to the supernatural, refreshed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, question number 2 is, how do you write? So do you tend to plot your stories out, or do you just see where they take you?
Now, I really wish I could plot. I think it would save me a lot of time and trouble. And I did try it once, and I wrote a 10,000 word outline and then veered from the story as soon as I got started writing it, really.
Right.
So, no, I'm a pantser. Is that the term they use?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I have a rough idea of the beginning and the ending, the type of characters I want, the type of theme I'm going for, the message I want to send out, if you like. And then I let those characters get me from A to B. And they do it in very surprising ways.
Yeah. And is there a particular software that you use, things like Scrivener, Word, things like that?
I had a look at Scrivener recently, but I can't be bothered to learn it. So no, I stick in with my Word. It works for me.
Yeah, fair enough. And is there a particular time and place that you enjoy writing?
I prefer writing from sort of about early morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning onwards. I'm better writing in the daytime than I am in the evening. Comes 5, 6 o'clock, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Brain starts to shut down. But I can edit into the evening. I just can't do the creative writing bit into the evening.
Yeah, well, that's useful. At least it's not like no time's wasted.
Yeah, no, basically with characters, I think if they can surprise me, then you've got a good chance of surprising the reader too, rather than having it all plotted out beforehand. So
yeah,
I can see the benefits of plotting it out, though, in terms of not quite so many redrafts.
Yeah, I think it makes the first draft a bit smoother, but then I think if you're plotting it out and taking some real time with the plotting, you're probably using up a lot of time doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on the individual writer and how they work most efficiently and effectively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, question number 3 is: are you a full-time author? If you are, how did you get there? And if you aren't, what steps are you taking to make it happen?
Yes, I am a full-time author, which is great, but I've only been able to do that since I took all my books out of contract and became an indie, because then my income soared. That I wasn't able to do. Well, I did. I still wrote full-time, but I was doing copywriting as well as the writing sort of thing. But now I don't do copywriting anymore. I'm a full-time author, and it's great. I don't know. It just seems to. I do audio now. I do my paperbacks, etc. It's so much better.
Yeah.
Audio is great. I mean, I must say, audio is definitely something I would advise everybody to do.
Yeah, I mean, have you found switching from traditional to indie in regards to things like the audiobooks?
Audiobooks. Well, actually, they never had my audio rights, which was something I found out. At the 11th hour, as it were. So they never had those. So no, fine. I just signed up. I go via ACX. I signed up without ACX. I found some terrific narrators, mostly, and who I work with over and over again.
Nice. Question number 4 is: what mistakes do you think you've made, and what have you got right?
Right. Well, my biggest mistake was not going indie in the first place. Not having that, because I knew indie authors, and they kept saying, "Shani, just go indie, just do it, please." And I didn't do it. I didn't have the confidence to do it initially. So I wasted about 3 or 4 years not being an indie. No, it wasn't wasted. It freed up enough time for me to learn the business, etc. So, what have I got right? My branding, I think I've got right. I think people know what to expect from Shani Struthers. It's not hardcore horror, but books that are more paranormal in style, more psychological, which I think is even more chilling. I wish I could release sooner than I do, but I write 2 full-length novels and a novella a year. I wish I could write quicker, but I don't think that's necessarily getting anything right or wrong. I just can't write any quicker than that, because obviously I have to factor in beta readers, editors, proofreaders, etc., and their time as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's still not bad, but by traditional publishing standards, that's pretty quick still.
Yes. I mean, by traditional publishing standards, it is. I think some of my friends who are with traditional publishers, some have to do 3 full-length novels a year. and some may only take 1 or 2. So it varies widely. But I can only seem to do 2 full lengths and a novella. Who knows? I might get quicker as the years go on. Who knows?
Yeah.
Being willing to listen to others eventually. That's something that I think I've got right. I don't know it all, far from it. It's never evolving business, and you need to take that into account. Belonging to groups on Facebook, such as Mark Dawson's groups, etc., are great. Doing the course, something like that. Learning the business, learning the ropes, learning behind the scenes. That's something I think I've done right as well, and I think it's essential if you intend to be a full-time author. It's not just about the creative, it's about the business side as well.
Yeah. Well, that leads us slightly into question 5, which is, what's your final piece of advice for authors starting out in indie publishing?
Right. I think it's be brave, follow your dreams, but be professional too. The indie community is a great one, and it's making huge strides in the publishing world. So don't let it down. Make sure your book is the best it can be. It's an investment, so fork out for editing and proofreading, good covers, correct formatting, etc. You can't edit your own book. Don't even try to. Find your tribe as well. I belong to an author cooperative called Authors Reach, and within it we've got specialists in editing, cover design, marketing, etc. And we all work together to help each other, deliver the best product that we possibly can. And because of Authors Reach, we've managed to negotiate deals with printers and distributors and even into bookstores as well, which is great. So find your tribe, find people that are willing to support you and see what you've got to offer them as well, and club together. And it's not a lonely business, far from it.
Yeah, well, I think that's good advice. And those are your 5 questions. You're off the hook, as I say.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. And you're off to Transylvania soon, I've heard.
I am. I'm off to I'm at 4:40 in the morning, in fact.
Wow.
I've got an early start. Yeah, I do a series called the This Haunted World series, and it's basically, they are books based in and around the world's most haunted places, and they combine fact with fiction. And so, Transylvania is on the hit list, so I'm going there and checking it all out.
Oh, fantastic. I'm quite jealous.
Oh, thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you ever so much for asking me.
That's it for this week's Self-Publishing Spotlight. Don't forget that you can get your free self-publishing resource kit at selfpublishingformula.com/starter kit. And if you want to appear as a guest on this show, send us brief details about yourself and your writing at selfpublishingformula.com/spotlight-guest. I'm Tom Ashford, and I'll see you again next week.